What's up, everybody? This is Miss G, 50 Shades of Glow, coming at you today. What's today? Sunday or Saturday? Sunday? Today's Sunday. Today is Sunday. And it's the end of the month. It's the end of the month. It is the 27th. I can't even believe this. Welcome, everyone. My name is Gloria, 50 Shades of Glow. Uh, Glamp Lux Travel. Hey, Kaden, welcome. Part of my Glow Tribe, the king of my Glow Tribe. Um, 50 Shades of Glow, Glamp Lux Travels and Experiences. And Glamp Lux Travels and Experiences is a travel consultancy agency to help you plan the travel of your dreams to the continent of Africa. And I help you do that. I personalize every trip. And that's why I have decided to go through for my clients and potential clients, going through all countries, 54 countries of Africa, because to get rid of one myth, Africa is not a country, it is actually a continent. It is massive. One of the countries like Kenya, Texas, how big Texas is, can fit in Kenya 4 times, and the United States can fit. The United States can fit into, I believe. Oh my goodness, the Sahara. Crazy, right? So I want to welcome everyone. Hey, Miss Nazinga, welcome, 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 welcome. So tonight, uh, we are going to talk about. This is a series. Let's talk about Africa. In my travels, I'm a solo traveler. I'm a 50 plus traveler, and I travel all over the country. I mean, all over the world. But I fell in love with the continent of Africa. And myself, as a professional travel consultant with a big corporation, I was one of their travel and lifestyle consultants for their platinum and centurion clients. Um, I was taken aback that they did not really offer African travel. And I thought that was interesting. Let me fix my stuff. Wow, look all crooked. Look all crooked. I look very crooked. Look very crooked, but it's okay. I look one way on YouTube. Hey, YouTube people. And I look one way on Facebook. But anyway, so I reached out to them because when I came on board, several of the trainers said, "Oh my gosh, you've been through Africa. Why don't you become a travel destination specialist?" So I said that was pretty cool. So as time went on and went through um, my what is it, probation period, I reached out because the company was very like kumbaya. Tell us, give us, feedback so we can be better as a company um, and do more for our clients. I said, hello. Hello. What I noticed is um, I would love to be, that's how I started off. I said, I would love to be your destination specialist for the continent of Africa because all I see on your website for locations in Africa is Mauritius and Seychelles. And who goes there? But ultra elite people, like less than a minuscule of a 1%. So they kind of ignored me. And then maybe a year or so later, Swung back around. They had a survey. Oh, give us feedback on how we could be better. And I said, hey, hello. The annoying person, the annoying student. And I said, yeah, I noticed that, you know, you really don't acknowledge Africa. And, I would love to represent that for the company. So they shared with me that, oh, that's so nice, but our metric shows that no one travels to Africa. So I said, okay, we doing that. Oh, okay. Okay, we doing that. All right, corporate America. So when it was that type of party, I said, well, I plan to live over in the continent. I love to travel there. And I said, you know what? If they, going to leave that market share on the table, okay, I'll pick it up. So I decided to make my niche of my market Africa only travel. So that's where my title, even though it's a mouthful, glam, because people love the glam. And if you travel to Africa and you do the Masamara or safari or whatsoever, or really enjoy the lush landscape, you may want to glamp, because a lot of, women, people from the West, they're not trying to camp, they want to glamp. And all of Africa travel is luxury travel. You're really not going to run into, like what we see with, some of the Caribbean. Oh, you can go for $2.99. That doesn't happen. So, but the experience is, equal to that price point, no matter really where you go. So on this journey, we started October 1st for the new folks that's coming in. Um, uh, we started October 1, and we started alphabetical order. We started with the A's, and we're going to end up. We started with Angola, and we're going to finish with Zimbabwe. And we've been going one day at a time, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every single day, except like a couple of days ago, a couple of things happened. But I want to stay consistent. Greg, how are you, sir? Lakeview in the house. Lakeview in the house. So that I want to stay consistent, because I am definitely a creative, and my attention span is about the length of the extension of a goldfish. So I'm so proud of myself. I have been sticking to it, but I've been sticking to it because I have a great community that I'm building, and I have my Glow Tribe here. Everyone knows who they are, and I have new people coming on every day. So welcome, welcome, Mr. Greg. Haven't seen you. Oh my gosh. Greg, we talk about here just a lot of things, definitely to travel, but just relationships. And it's so many people that come on. I have new people that come on, but I have, long term Lakeview folks. And I know I've known Greg for 50 years, because we were neighbors, like two doors away, 3 doors away. He lived on the corner. I lived in the middle of the block. So we've known each other, all of us, since elementary school. Elementary school. So great. Thank you for coming on, Mr. Gregory. So, um, anywho, uh, we're going to talk about Central African Republic. Has anyone heard of the Central African Republic? Put a one in the chat. I got to get creative with what I put in the chat. um, yeah, put a one in the chat if you have ever heard of Central African Republic. we're going to go over something. Oh, let me remember because it was a request. So, does anybody have any questions or follow up about what we talked, the country we talked about yesterday? If you had any questions, put it in the chat if you have any questions about the country we spoke about yesterday. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna move forward. So Central Central African Republic is in Central Africa, and it is a landlocked country, and it borders like Congo, Chad, Sudan, like it's in the middle, seriously, and nowhere. The ironic thing is that yeah, the ironic thing is that it has 6 million people. It has a lot of folks. It has a lot of folks, but you're gonna find out shortly why, because they don't have nothing else to do. So they have 6 million people, and just like a lot of other African countries, um, yeah, a lot of other African countries, most of their population is very young. Now, when we addressed this before, it was a question in the chat that said, well, why is the life expectancy rate like in the 50s? Yeah. X about education. Oh, okay. Yep. Thank you. So yeah, so um the what life expectancy was. So in this country, more than 50% of the population is under 14. Only 3% is over 65. The average life expectancy is 54. And I found out why, because that question was going to be asked again. So I did my research. Okay. So the reason why it is for a couple of things. And this country has a very high population of orphans. It has like 10 to 15% of the country are orphans. And the reason because of that is because it goes back long. So, they have had internal conflict. That's one. So their parents have got, murdered, killed. And then with it being pretty much landlocked, they don't get resources. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that I'm scratching my head, because this country, in the research I I went into kind of a rabbit hole, and mentioned to y'all uh not too long ago with one of the countries that, yeah, when we were talking about the tourism, and they were talking about the S tourism. I'm on YouTube, so I can't say the word. So the S tourism, and that's big in, I forgot what country it was, but that's big everywhere. But that country obviously is like a thing. So there's other type of tourism, not just to the continent of Africa, but all over. But it's ecotourism. If you are a type of person that loves, ecology, and just getting one with nature and tropical and living off the grid and all of that, it's a big ecotourism. Then you have like the regular, tourism that we know, I guess the entertainment tourism, the luxury tourism, all of that. But there is a special tourism, and a young lady shared with me when I was in, um, was I in Kenya? I'm not sure if I was in Kenya when she told me, or this was happening, or she shared this with me when they had um, the protest, and she and I did. She interviewed me. Yes, so I was in Kenya. She interviewed me, just talking about, you know, her topic was, why are so many Americans coming back to Africa? That was her topic. And she interviewed me, and we had a great talk. What's her name? Victoria. I forgot what her channel's name is. It escapes me. But she mentioned to me, and she said, "Oh well, you know, do you?" It was, I don't want to say poor tourism, but it is a slum tourism, slum. I'm going to research. I didn't have time to research that word tonight, but I'm going to find out that particular tourism, and it is a thing. So, when people, it's one thing to go to a place, and you don't want anything fancy. You may camp instead of glamp. Adrian, welcome, 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 welcome. That you may camp instead of glamp and really just live on the grid. Um, this particular tourism thrives on going to places like in Kenya. There's a slum, and in a lot of the places or the townships, there's slums, and you get a lot of tourists, usually from Europe, of course, that like to go to see that. Like it's is it slum tourism? Courtney, welcome. We missed you yesterday. Welcome. Um, I think the word is slum tourism. And basically it is when people go to another country and they just want to see the people in the poorest and most like uh, uh, demeaning position to, I guess, I don't know, for their own ego. I don't know. So, and the reason why I say that is, and I didn't know it was a thing. And she said that to me, and I was like, what? And she said, "Oh my God, thank God you don't know anything about it." And I said, "No, I've never heard of it before." And she was talking about, there's like a slum neighborhood in Nairobi, and it is like one of the major tourist attractions. When people from Europe come, they want to see, the Africans that live in the slum. They're not interested in the Africans that live in Karen or Westlands, or they want to come and see the Africans that's living in the slums, and running around barefoot and begging for money. Like, that's a thing. That's crazy, isn't it? That's crazy. So that is a tourism thing. And the reason why I say that is because, and folks that have been part of the Glow Tribe, um, y'all know that I was married to someone from Sierra Leone. So all of this is going to connect in a second. So this country, Central Africa Republic, it is the Africa that they want us to think the entire continent is. This is what they show us on TV. This is what they, when they say get a yellow fever shot, and that is required to this go to this country. And based on my research, when I would say, oh, the malaria, don't worry about it. Yeah, you need to take the malaria pill too. But really and truly, either or, don't bother, because this country really is not, no tourists really go there. And other than uh, versus other countries that we've talked about, where the people are welcoming and friendly and nice and all of that, the people in this country, in Central African Republic, is very cautious, very standoffish, and if you're not within, um, you know, the um, the village or whatever, they see a foreigner, they're not feeling you at all, because they have been through a lot, they've seen a lot, so they really don't trust most people. So, and also, to go to the country is very restrictive. To go to the country is very, very restrictive. Um, you need a permit to go anywhere. There are, um, checkpoints everywhere. You have to pay to go from one port to another. So, unfortunately, I give this one handbag, one handbag, between 1 and 5. I give this one handbag, and it's for several reasons. One, okay, it's no tourists. Two, it's undeveloped, and it's undeveloped for no reason. It's undeveloped literally for no reason. The average family lives on $2 a day, tops. Their average is like 70 something dollars a month. That is their average. The president, from what I'm told, he makes about $3,500 a month, and that's considered very, very rich. But they're sitting on oil, diamonds, gold, and uranium. I don't understand why that country is not being developed and they have all those resources. Most of the people, yes, the only thing that they do is agriculture, but they can make so much more with all the resources they have. They're sitting on diamonds, just like Botswana was sitting on diamonds and didn't know. And now Botswana, population is getting free education, free healthcare, because they took advantage of the resources that they found after their independence. So Central Africa Republic, they do have their independence from France. Again, France don't disappoint. Mm-mm. I just will never look at France the same way, of how they just colonized basically most Africa. And the Portuguese is real interesting. But yes, so they got their independence in 1960, and but they're being ruled. The ironic thing with the African countries that fight so hard to get their um, their independence, then when they get a leader, the leader is, I don't want to say a tyrant, but the leader like treats them just as bad as the colonizers do. They go under like the same rule. That's kind of crazy. Kind of crazy, kind of crazy. So going back to what I was going to tie together. So I was married to someone from Sierra Leone. And I remember when they first got to the United States. And as you know, a couple of years went by, we would talk, whatever. And it was really, really big. Hey, Miss Q. Um, uh, Back then, it was really big with the, you remember they used to have um, the commercials on all the time about save the children and all of that and blah blah blah. And you will run into so many people from North Dakota or whatever. Oh, I'm going to Africa and be a missionary, and this is that, and we're doing this and we're doing that, and we're going to give immunizations. So my former husband used to say, they used to come over to Sierra Leone with that nonsense. And he said they wouldn't dare. So I don't know. I look real side eye with the missionary thing. And the reason why I say that is because some missionaries have been in countries, or missionary nonprofit missionary groups and all of that have been in these countries for decades, 50s, 60s, decades. And the country in the same shade. The country's economic position is in the same shape. The country's food source and quality is in the same shape. Uh, like Central Africa Republic, their water stays contaminated. So they have to get these water jugs from wherever to come into the village. And this is 2024. Only 14% of the country has access to electricity. And that 14% is only like the capital of the country is called Bangui. Okay. So like Bangui and what's right around it. Patty Hurts. How are you? Welcome, 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 welcome. Um, yeah, only has access 14% of 6 million people. 14%. So that is, I don't know, 80,000 people. Is that right? I don't know. But 14% of the population has access to electricity. Less than 1% has a bank account. Um, Mostly everyone does not have, like I said, electric uh, or running or plumbing. No plumbing. No plumbing. And I've seen that firsthand when I went, when I was on the coast. Um, yeah, when I was on the coast in Kenya. But the ironic thing is the the residents, very few, probably less than half, had indoor plumbing. They're still going to outhouses. They have the main house, but then they have an outhouse. I was tripping. And they don't do toilets. If you do have a indoor plumbing, somewhat, it's still like a hole in the floor, a hole in the floor. But like in the country that we're talking about, in like the Congo and Sudan, or all of that. Bridget, welcome, Reverend Bridget. Um, welcome to Glow Tribe, but Glamplux Travels. We are talking about Africa, and we are talking about Central Africa Republic. Okay. Yes. So as I was saying, that it's very interesting. In 2024, you can go to a place and they got an outhouse, like for real. But right next door, they can have a home. It could be a home that was built by someone that is not from there, okay? European. And they just don't have a toilet. They got a toilet and a bidet. and not one toilet in the house. They got like three, four bathrooms. But yet, the people that work for them, they go home and they squatting over a hole and have a bucket of water and pour it down. And that's just regular. So I know from my research when they shared, that there's no plumbing, and that's probably where the issues come from with um, the average lifespan. One is because of the conflict and the killing and everything like that. And then since it's really is not developed, they don't have infrastructure. They have a lot of gastro. A lot of people die because or have gastro issues, and there's a lot of infant deaths. It's a lot of deaths, a lot of infant deaths, a lot of gastro deaths, and one is because the water is stays polluted. So I'm trying to understand, real talk, if there has been all of these missionaries for all of these decades that has been rolling in these countries. Now, the other ironic thing is the missionaries, they got a toilet. They're not getting sick. Their kids go to a boarding school with toilets. They live long, but the people that they were supposed to come and help, they're orphans. They die. So I be looking at the missionaries with a side eye. I'm sorry. I be looking anytime someone says, "Oh yeah, I go to Africa and I do missionary work." I be like, oh, "Okay, all right, okay." Because every place that I've seen where it's a heavy, heavy missionary want to help the people of the area, I don't see that area grow. I don't see that area thrive. I see that area in the same condition. So when I talk to my girlfriend, I'm going to share with y'all, in the upcoming. Um, I'm going to try to get her on tomorrow because tomorrow I believe we're talking about Kenya. I love me some Kenya. So I know I'm going to have a guest on or a couple of guests. And I think I may break up Kenya into two. Uh, Two, I may break it up into like the Nairobi city and the inland, and then uh, the the coast. So I may break Kenya up into two, and I'm definitely going to bring on some people that have lived there. There's a young lady, like I mentioned, she lived there. She and I met. She wanted to, jump up and down to come to the United States. She married this guy. Took her 3 years to get her visa. She's finally here and she cries all the time. She stays sick all the time. She says she wants to go home so bad. And I said, see, curiosity killed the cat. So she was like, you were so right. I said, yeah, I was telling y'all don't want none of this. Y'all don't want none of this. But yes. So as I was saying with, my former husband, in Sierra Leone, he said they never trusted any of the missionaries to come and give them shots and take care of them. They just didn't trust it at all, because you came to do shots and take care of, but all of a sudden AIDS pops up and it comes from Africa, but they were injecting who knows what. So yeah. So anywho, because I'll get on going on. Okay. So as I said, it's landlocked. So it has the Congo, Sudan, all of that, Chad. The Chad River used to be very vibrant, but unfortunately, with droughts and everything, the Chad River is almost dried up. Just wow, almost dried up. And the people different than the other African countries. They're not as friendly, they're not as warm, but they're, in a little circle. And there's a lot of birthing, but not there's no quality of life really. Um, and it was interesting when they shared the average amount of kids that a woman has. So it may be some, fraganacle bull that goes on there. Also, they said it's like 4.5 children. The average is 4.5 children per woman, not per couple, not whatever. So, it's a lot. It seems to me that it's a lot of caca going on with this country, that they're sitting on so much resource, but the average household lives on about $2 a day in 2024. Um, Education is really not a priority, and especially for women. So most of the population, is, I guess, not globally literate. Um, the people that do go to school, uh, French is taught as the, I guess, the global language, but their their official language is called Sango. Sango, that is the national language. Sango. And what else? Um, yeah, to go to the country that you really can't even get in anyway. You probably, and it's not even a country like the countries we were talking about before, that okay, you go and it's just quiet paradise. And we were talking about that yesterday. Yeah, we was talking about yesterday with Comoros. No, it's not like a Comoros. Mm-mm. This is the Africa that they wanted us to think was Africa total. So, and it looks like that's what it is with like Equatorial Guinea, and this country, ironically, originally was named French Equatorial. Yeah, Equatorial. Um, I don't want to say Guinea. It was French Equatorial Africa Republic, something like that. Anyway, um, the food. All right, so the food is very standard, uh, and what I have run into, and if anyone has been to the continent or know, deal with African people, they have a staple food, and the staple food is usually like carb rich, and I think it's because if things got low, they could, mix it with different things in like a soup. You can have, you can do like a fish soup, and then you have like the fufu, you have the fufu, and you can, the dough, and it'll soak up and it'll fill you up. Just like the ugali over in East Africa, the fufu in West Africa, it's the same type of thing. So here they have a manioc, and it's made from the manioc root, and they crush it up, and then make it a dough, and basically eat it the same type of way. Hey Kathy, welcome. And eat it the same type of way that they do with ugali and fufu. So that is like with their food. Now, some wild. So we talked about, that it's a country that is, to say the least, is struggled the stereotypical Africa that they want us to think the entire Africa is, not the Africa that is going on and popping that we want to be a part of. But the crazy thing is their currency. Can anybody in the chat? Hey Mary, can anyone in the chat tell me? Now they function on the franc, okay? Um, but can someone tell me they have another currency that blows my mind for how poor this country is? This country's GDP is $2 billion. So just to give you I guess equate, $2 billion is their total GDP. $2 billion Amazon makes in peak every 2 days. That's deep. I didn't know $2 million was like that. Okay. Amazon makes $2 million during peak season every 2 days. And their total GDP is $2 billion. And they sitting on diamonds, gold, uranium, and oil. Go figure. Go figure. But guess what? Can anybody in the chat, if anybody in the chat can guess what their other currency on the ground is, it'll blow your mind. I'll give y'all when my travel book comes out, you're gonna y'all gonna get a free book. The first person that can answer that question. What is the other currency that they have? It is so ironic. So ironic. This is a fun fact. I'm going to give folks like a minute or two. Does anyone know? I know what Caden is doing. He Googling it up. He got to come with the answer. Does anyone know what their other currency is? And they're one of the poorest nations in the world and in Africa. And the crazy thing is, and I'm going to connect after I give you all the answer if no one knows. The crazy thing is in Africa, there's a lot of things that start. Well, it's Mother Africa. Pretty much everything starts. Not recognized, but everything starts. All right. So no one put anything in the chat. Can y'all believe their second currency on the ground is Bitcoin? Bitcoin. That's their second currency. But I guess the regular people can't use it. Like, you make $2 a day. That is their second currency, is Bitcoin. That's crazy. Crazy. Now, that, from what I know so far, I don't know anything. I may be wrong. Anyone correct me that if they may know, but they may be the first country to actually, now we trade Bitcoin and all that stuff. We know Bitcoin, but a country that has Bitcoin as one of their currencies, that's crazy. I don't know another country that has Bitcoin, but Africa still is in the forefront of that because in Kenya is the first and still only place that their whole currency system is digital. And they were the first ones. Not the United States, not the UK, not Canada, but Kenya. And we'll get more into that tomorrow when we talk about Kenya. But it's called M-Pesa. And they've been doing M-Pesa for a minute. Now we have our digital ways, Cash App and Zelle and all that, but they were the first. And you can go into a restaurant. They don't really have credit cards. They have, but they really don't use them. And when you go like into the grocery store, if you go into a restaurant, if you go anywhere to shop, even the local little store, you will see a number on the wall, and you put that number in your phone and it pays. It pays. So it functions just like Cash App, like that we do digital, but they really don't operate with the swipe or the tap. They don't do any of that. They go on their phone and put the number, whatever the number is, in and pay, and it's called M-Pesa. So people look that up. That'll be your homework tonight, to look up M-Pesa, M-P-E-S-A. Pesa means money in Swahili. Okay. And tomorrow, when we talk about Kenya, because I believe Kenya is the next country, we're going to talk about, I think we're hitting K's because we had to go back on the C's. I don't know how I missed the C's, but I'll list it. But I believe Kenya is tomorrow. Very excited about that. A lot of info. We're going to do 2 days of Kenya. I'm going to do 2 days of Kenya. If anyone in the chat been to Kenya, or has anyone in the chat been to the motherland? Because there's a lot of new people and I want to welcome y'all. I want to welcome y'all. I want to welcome y'all. So if no one has any questions, again, my name is Gloria, 50 Shades of Glow, Glamplux Travels. I have a boutique consultant, travel consultant. See that will assist you in booking your dream trip to the continent. That's I do Africa only travel. I'll book you anywhere because my background, can support that. But I will at Glamp Lux Travel uh, only books Africa travel. So that's why we are going bit by bit through the continent. So you can choose what places instead of the typical places. There's been some really cool places that we have uncovered that I am definitely putting on my bucket list. And we have, let me see, we're about 25 countries in because we started on the 1st. So 25 minus 54, what is that? 29? 29? Can I count? So, yes, so we're about almost halfway through and we should finish up right around Thanksgiving. I want to thank all of y'all. Check your messenger in the next hour. I always send y'all a follow up little gift. And if anyone is planning a trip on their own and want to DIY, definitely pre order. Uh, Travel Guide Africa Only from Glampluxe Travels. And I also have Bougie on a Budget Travel that you can use to find your best travels. Just DM me or go to my website and request your reservation. If there's nothing else, I want to thank y'all again for coming on, and I will see y'all tomorrow at 9 p.m. And I am on Facebook and on YouTube with 50 Shades of Glow at the same time. So that's why I'm doing like this. So y'all have a great and blessed week. And thank y'all so much for stopping by. Please share, tell a friend, share, like, subscribe on my YouTube channel, 50 Shades of Glow. And y'all take care. Have a great and prosperous week. Bye for now.